What's going on, guys? So what we're going to be covering today is your inventory. That is your backpack. That's where you put away all your goodies, all that loot that you're going to be grabbing. But for those of you that grab too much, you probably notice that you're constantly full. And when you end up filling up your inventory, it makes it a little bit slower for you to pick up the next things that you need. So a good thing to do from the start is to just pick up the things you need and leave the ones you don't. But the thing is that there's no 100% way to do this correctly because you never know what you're going to be picking up in the future. That's why carrying extra rounds or things like the turbocharger may not be of use to you if you never find a devotion or a weapon that takes that ammo type. Now there's a lot of things that are going to determine what you're going to want to carry. The first one is going to be the stage of the game, and the second one is going to be your inventory capacity. A better backpack means that you can be more loosey on the things that you end up taking with you. But typically when you're getting to the end stage of the game, you've had more time to loot or you've looted other players that have found a better backpack. So the chances are that at the end game, you yourself as well as other people are going to have a large capacity. That means that you have to watch out for people carrying a lot of health packs, a lot of shields, and God knows what else. They can pretty much be holding anything in this game. The question is, what is their quantity and what is their quality? Typically, the higher the quality of the item, the less of them you can stack. And this is for good reason, because they're so much better. A small medkit versus a large medkit, there's a difference of 3 seconds, yet the small one only gives you 25 and the large one gives you 100. Because of the minimal difference in activation times, it typically pays off to just use the larger ones unless it's the early game. Grenades stack up to 2, so right now you see how I have 3 grenades? That means that I have one that's just one solo grenade. So next time I run by a grenade, I'm definitely going to pick it up because it's not going to affect my inventory. Or since I just have one, maybe I want to free up that slot by throwing away the solitary grenade. The most common way to overload your inventory is ammo. Not only just one type of ammo, because they stack differently. Regular ammo like this stacks in, 80s? So once you start going over 80s, you want to just stay in 80 packs. You don't want to leave them, if it's just going to be 20, maybe you're better off just throwing it away. Look at this guy do a double take. Now it's a triple take. No, but really, I gave him purple armor and he's still looking for more. But back to the business of ammo. Certain ammo, depending on the gun that you have, you're not going to need as much. Like when I'm using a Spitfire Devotion, I need a lot of that ammo type. If I'm going to be using something like a, not a G2, the longbow. If you're going to be using something like a longbow, you're not going to need much ammo. Like 40 rounds is plenty on a longbow. Right now I'm stacking ultimate accelerants, and this is the thing, I was thinking about it, I'm like, yes, everybody knows that you should give it to the girl that has the drop. Every time you find an accelerant, you just grab it and use it. It makes most sense like that. But sometimes maybe you're going to want to stack it like you're going to see me do here. And why would you want to stack this many accelerants? And this is 4, which I think is the sweet spot. I think 5 is too many slots taken up, and usually there's downtime in between them where you can afford to wait a little bit for it to do the last percentages. But if you have something like the aggressive artillery barrage, maybe you want to stack 4 of them, maybe even 5 if you have purple backpack and up, and use 2 in a row. This is very situational though. I don't think it's the greatest thing to do. If you find an accelerant, just use it right away. A lot of you may not know, but you cannot access it through the quick menu. You have to go into your main menu and then activate it there. For the longest time, I guess I mean for the first 2 days, I didn't know how to even use it because it never came up. I'm like, okay, weird, I guess I didn't pick it up or something like that. And then I finally figured out that you had to go into the menu. I always assumed they could have just added one extra button in the quick menu on the left there and just made it so you click down on your sticks on console. But I can barely complain because this game has been done so well. It's so smooth. The user interface was one of the worst things when it came to a battle royale game because there's so many things you need to do and need to do them quickly, especially when you start dealing with a larger inventory. Like playing PUBG on console, it's awful. Absolutely awful. Like it turned me off right away. Fortnite at first also didn't have a very good interface for console. It was hard to build and it was also hard to switch your weapons, but they did end up fixing that. Apex Legends just came practically perfect out of the box. What an amazing experience. But let's get back to talking about our inventory. So at the beginning, as soon as you drop, I honestly don't think you should be overly selective unless you're on PC and you have perfect aim with your mouse. I say just spam away if there's a weapon, try to grab all the ammo or whatever attachments. Like I wouldn't be overly concerned about what you grab, you just want to grab yourself a weapon. After that, shields and a med kit and you're golden. At this point, you may also just want to grab any ammo that crosses your path, especially if you don't have a good gun and you're anticipating that you're going to be changing. If I find a gun right away that I know I'm going to be sticking with, like let's say the Spitfire or a Hemlock, then I'm not going to be too concerned about carrying another kind of primary ammo type. You also just saw that I picked up the, for the Peacekeeper, I picked up its perk. And I always pick up that perk because it's one of my favorite weapons. If you have a weapon that works for you and you see perks for it, grab them because it makes sense for you to hold them. If it's something that you know works for you, grab it. This is going to be a lot of personal preference. One of the biggest things that I like at the end game now is a lot of explosives. I love having a lot of arc stars. I love having a lot of grenades, the firewalls, all that stuff. I love spamming it. And when you get to the end game and you have that high capacity, it makes a big difference, and it's hard to actually play against. I think that's the kind of stuff that you're going to see become more meta. I think you may even see these double ultimates come into more coordinated teams. I'm surprised by how many ultimate accelerants I find on the field after I'm going through places that have already been looted. I did enjoy playing Lifeline because of how much the accelerants made your play experience that much better. If you know you're somebody that's not hyper aggressive, maybe this is your character. Maybe this is going to be what your squad needs because you guys are more looking to survive until the end and be opportunistic. Maybe you need that extra help from some random loot. If you don't need that, you could try that strategy that we talked about earlier and just hoarding them for 2 aggressive ultimate attacks in a row. By the way, this is probably the, I want to say the most boring footage I've ever used, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys some looting. Here's a nice shield battery that does all your shields, and you see how these things scale from the beginning to the end game, because in the beginning of the game when you have shields that only have 2 bars, hey, it may be nice to actually stack 6 of those little shields and then you're recharging yourself 3 times. So you see how it makes a difference a stage of the game versus what you're going to be picking up. Anyways, we're going to be kicking it up a notch. We're going to go into some shotgun action. So what kind of weapons do you guys like picking up? And what do you guys like as an end game build? In regards to like what kind of health or shields? When I was playing Lifeline, I didn't have to worry too much about medkits, but I found that I still needed medkits. Like you can't 100% depend on that drone. Like the cooldown time and the fact that you have to stand in one spot and wait for it to charge you. Like it's a lot faster for you to use a medkit. It's just a nice supplement to it. And what if you get your team to hold their own ultimate accelerants? Is that a better way to do it so you're not stuffing your inventory with accelerants that you're going to need to carry? Because for the aggressive build, that's what you need to do. But it really lightens the load. You see what I did there? That was an accident, but you can lighten your load by letting your teammates carry some of those. I think those are pretty smart things. I think you should have specialists because of the way that these items stack. Maybe when your team is looting after a fight, that's a good time to talk to each other and be like, oh, maybe you want to hold all the arc grenades, you hold all the regular grenades. Somebody else is going to hold the fire ones just because they stack nicely. This is the same thing that you can do with health packs. You can also do that with shields. Maybe you want somebody to hold them so they can hold more of them and you can free up your own inventory. There's a lot of things that a good coordinated team can do, and I think a lot of you guys should become very familiar with how to use your inventory, not just like how to drop things, but also how to go through them quickly. Things like going through your grenades quickly is a pretty special skill. Going through your medkits quickly. You can change between your medkit, like as soon as you start healing, you can switch to your shields. So that's something that you want to be doing, because then you're just ready for your next step. As soon as you're done healing, you're ready to put on your shields, or vice versa. And we're getting to the end of the video, so this is the part where you guys show your support by leaving a comment. If you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a thumbs down. Give me some feedback in the comments and let me know what you guys want to see for future episodes. I know some of you guys are really itching for some Titanfall, and don't you worry boys, I always have your back when it comes to that game. But we're also going to be doing a lot of Apex Predators, so you guys are going to have to hold out for it. I will give you guys at least one Titanfall video a week. We will keep to that standard. Anyways, let me know your views. Thanks for watching. I'm Paper. Cut to you. And I'll see you guys next time.
I know, dude. That's what busy boy, dude.
And I just want to throw out a quick shout out to Noob. He is a friendly subscriber. Stu, thanks for joining us for this game as well. If you want to play with me, add me, don't spam me.